Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Paquetia, and on this channel, I discuss all kinds of stuff, bits and pieces of my life, my recent decision to retire early at 50. Lately, I have been really nesting in that space and talking a lot about it. The holidays are coming up. My grandkids are coming. I'm super excited for all of those things. I also talk at length sometimes about my small business and everything that I'm learning in this season of my life. So today, with T minus 2 days remaining in my current role. My official retirement will begin on Friday at 3:01 p.m. So I'm excited, and I'm also like not anxious, but I am just my mind is racing just a million things that I want to accomplish, things that I want to do, the rest that I want to take, all of that stuff. So anyway, I decided to, while I was cleaning up some things, I really started kind of reflecting on just, the lessons that I've learned and the growth and all of those great things. So I wanted to make this video today and share four of those kind of mindset shifts, life lessons that I've learned on over the course of my career, and the things that help to really make me successful. And by successful, I mean sustainable. Like I never lost myself in my career transition, on my career trajectory. I never lost myself. I never compromised to, get a new role, or I didn't let someone or the space that I was in turn me into something that, at the end of the day, I couldn't face that person. It never turned me into. I didn't allow it to make me bitter or just any of those things that were negative. And that doesn't mean that everything has been a cakewalk over the course of the last 20 plus years, but it certainly has. There have been some moments that were very defining for me, and so I thought, I was like, I think this is good. It's good fodder, right? So I wanted to share it anyway, and it's just for. And I even brought my notes to make sure that I don't ramble, because y'all know your girl can ramble. So anyway, I want to share kind of my four mindset shifts, things that I've learned over the course of my career, and how they're gonna kind of come with me on this next, part of my professional journey. Okay, all right. So grab something to drink. We're just gonna be here for a few minutes. So the first one is learning to lean in. I truly believe that change is really the only thing that is constant, and so I have tried to learn how to pay attention to the shifting tides, the energy in the room, the changes in the organization. I've paid attention to when a number of leadership, individuals, management, org changes, when all that stuff starts to shift. Usually people don't pay attention to that. People tend to think when your manager starts to look outside of the organization to find another role, or when key people in your organization start looking at other opportunities or taking on other opportunities, people tend to just think that that is them being on their career path. And sometimes it truly is, but other times they already see the writing on the wall before the writing is even on the wall. And so I've learned to pay close attention to how things are changing around me. When I was younger, my mother was always about, like, girl, pay attention to what's around you. Stop looking at the ground. Look up, look side to side. Pay attention to what's going on around you. And I've learned to do that professionally also. That has helped me to stay relevant. That has helped me to just stay current with, skills and information and how I'm going to show up, and what my contribution to spaces would be. Just recognizing the shifting and the changing tides and the changing of the guards, like when people come in and out of spaces. So just my ability to learn to lean into things, to lean into change. Um, at the beginning of the pandemic, I had a number of coaching clients that were in roles for decades, which, you know, that's a conversation for another day. Like the amount of time that one person spends in a certain space. Not only were they in roles or in companies for decades, for years, some of them even had like the same like team structure, the same managers and things like that. And so when COVID hit and you started seeing like other things happening, managers leaving, um, they were seeing kind of their teams being absorbed by other teams because things were going away, because the market had changed and customer bases had changed and things like that. When those other things started to change, and when like new managers, and this, I wouldn't even need to take this back all the way to COVID, but think about like where you are right now. um, and if a maybe your job has been like absorbed by a merger or an acquisition, and you get the new team structure, the new leadership structure to kind of come in. More often than not, they're like bringing their new people, their new ideas, their new company, culture and all of that. They're bringing it into the space. One of the things that I started to see with some of my clients is they were so focused on the way they had been doing things for all those years that it was so difficult for them to quickly pivot and make adjustments, in this new environment. And as a result, they were the first ones on the chopping block, because it's like you're not able to lean into kind of the new thing that we're doing. Or even give it a chance to decide if you like it or not. You are just immediately resistant. And so they found themselves, being kind of at the top of the list of people that we don't need to carry into the future. Um, Sometimes that is really detrimental. And it's not that you're not going to like whatever the changes are, but you've not given yourself space and time to even see if it's something that, might work for you, or you could use it as a resource for your own kind of growth and development. You just immediately write it off. And then you immediately write other things off. So um, I learned for me, right? Like for my own benefit, for my own, um, you know, whatever it was going to mean for me in the future, my ability to at least lean in, open up my perspective. And even if it didn't work for me, I wasn't going to, it wasn't going to be the card that I played. That was a card that I was going to keep to myself. And I was going to move in those spaces silently until I could figure out what the best course of action for myself was. Um, so learning to lean in, giving myself permission to trust my own judgment, to trust my intuition, and then to trust the counsel, the people that I have allowed to speak into my life, to encourage me, to uh, give me constructive feedback and criticisms, whatever that is, to listen to all of those things, to trust myself in this process, and then learning to lean in. All right, so the second one is learning to flex. And by learning to flex, I mean learning how to be flexible. I'm an Agile enthusiast. If you've been a part of this channel for a little bit, right? You don't even have to be here long, but if a little bit, then um, because I'm an Agile enthusiast and I love what the Agile framework teaches you, I have really been able to move in such a way that I am able to make adjustments as much as I need to. And it doesn't make me double-minded, if I am, if I'm flexible in my decision making. I will try to, I talk about this all the time, plan for inconveniences. I definitely plan to hit a specific mark, but I always leave some buffer in the planning process, to make sure that if something goes, if something doesn't go the way that I intended it to go, that I have some space to recover and to make some adjustments. I try not to be so rigid in what I believe and so like, no, this is that, and it's black and white and blah, blah, blah. There are beautiful shades of gray along the way. And I just needed to be open to them. And I will still continue to be open to, the possibility that I wasn't right, that I was wrong. And if I am wrong, if I miscalculated something, I need to be flexible enough to make those adjustments. So this has really it has saved me from just breaking under the pressure of trying to keep up appearances, trying to maintain something just so somebody doesn't talk about me, somebody doesn't speculate about why I'm making. I don't care about any of that. That kind of pressure, bringing that kind of pressure into my life, my personal space, it is just too much, and I'm not able to handle it. So I don't care what assumptions you're making about why I am making a decision. I'm making the decision based on, the information that I've collected, and the decision based on that information, and that's how I choose to move forward. And so my ability to be flexible, to make adjustments as much as I need until I get it right, has really been a value add for me. Um, I think for me, being flexible has taught me to, it is okay for you to adjust and bend and recover versus breaking under the weight of the pressure of just being stubborn and rigid. I think that really sums it up. So, number three, it's really not that serious until it is. Like, I have learned, I think younger me, everything was, oh my God, we're going to die. Everything was so like up to here. Um, Older me realizes that everything is not a fire drill, everything is not an emergency, everything is not a priority, and not everything has a purpose for this particular season. So there's no reason for me to be carrying it forward wherever I'm trying to go. I I just don't, I no longer ascribe to the idea that everything is a fire drill. I feel like um, I feel like treating everything like a fire drill increases your chances of getting burned, right? Like, everything cannot be a life or death experience. Everything doesn't mean that you need to get involved. You have to put your hands on it. Everything doesn't mean that you need to include your opinion. Social media has really driven us all to this space where everybody feels like they need to be heard, they need to be seen, they need to be validated, and it sounds like an oxymoron because I'm certainly here on YouTube giving people information that nobody asked for. However, um, in context of somehow feeling like it is your right and your privilege to insert yourself in a situation that may or may not require you to do so, sometimes is really damaging to yourself, to your own inner peace, to your own self-care. I think a lot of the stresses and the anxieties that we have is because we feel like we have to solve everything. And sometimes you could just take your piece and go sit on the porch and have a cup of tea and let the chips fall if that's what you need to do. We don't need to be superheroes for every situation. Professionally, I have often felt like because somebody disagreed with me in a meeting, it was my responsibility as X, right? And you fill in the blanks for whatever X is. But, as X, I felt like, maybe I need to speak up for myself. Maybe I needed to vindicate myself. Maybe I need to go back and prove a point. Maybe I need to find that email. And there are situations where all of those things definitely make sense, but every situation doesn't need that kind of energy added to it. So it's never that serious until it is. Until I need to check you for something that you said sideways, I will. But every time you open your mouth, I don't have to do it. And every time you open your mouth, you don't you haven't earned my energy. I cannot give, my energy over to you because I definitely believe in energy transfers. You people show up, do crazy stuff, and now you engage with them, and then they walk away and they're good, and you are just disheveled for the rest of the day, and it has thrown your entire day off. I have learned people do not deserve that kind of power, so I'm definitely not giving my power away. And it has served me well, and it will continue to serve me well, as I move forward. So my last one is learning to know when something is over. I remember I don't know what movie this was. It was a Tyler Perry movie, y'all. It was a Tyler Perry movie. It was the one where Blair Underwood, it's one of the more popular ones. Anyway, I can't remember. But Underwood is talking to Lynn Whitfield. He's in his office and she's talking about, don't be putting your hands on my daughter. Y'all, somebody tell me the name of this Tyler Perry movie. I cannot remember it. It's not, I don't know. I can't remember it. I can't remember this Tyler Perry movie. But anyway, Blair Underwood's character, he's the husband. He's talking to Lynn Whitfield's character. She's the mother-in-law. He's talking to her about the wife, the daughter-in-law. And Lynn Whitfield is whatever she's saying. But he says to her something along the lines of, a lady always knows when it's time to leave. I'm not crazy about the Tyler Perry movie, but that line stuck with me. Um, because over the course of my professional career and even in personal spaces, friendships, different relationships, and things like that, it is so important to know when it's over and when it's time to leave. I truly believe that God has given us all a voice inside of us. For me, I believe that voice is God's voice. That's the Holy Spirit. When it's over, you don't need to be a part of something anymore. You need to be out. Like, we're not, it's just like the girls in the horror movies. Girl, you don't feel right. Leave. We're not being nice. We're not trying to, I think women do this more than men do this. But if you're uncomfortable, or if it just feels like it no longer has value, it is no longer serving you, it's no longer helping you grow or anything, it's not adding to your life. The relationship feels one-sided, like you're always reaching out and blah blah blah. It's time to go. It is over. I am very big on prioritizing my own comfort. I know for me, when something no longer is working, when it no longer feels good, when I am constantly uncomfortable, when I feel like it's too painful, or if it is less than what I deserve, I'm not sticking around for it. I'm not trying to work through it beyond anything that is reasonable, right? Like, I'm not trying to make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, that probably is exactly what you need to know from whatever that situation is. So I'm not trying to, I'm not I'm not trying to change the course of whatever direction it's going in. If the gas light's on, you're probably about to run out of gas. Like, sometimes I feel like we are, I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like sometimes we don't, again, I speak from the perspective of, as a woman, I know that societally we are taught to be more nurturing and more patient and forgiving. So sometimes we will just call things everything other than what it is. If a fire is burning, we will, oh no, but everything is not on fire. It doesn't matter. All the exits are on fire. You should probably try to get out of there. It just, I don't know. Maybe it just, we don't want to have a label attached to us, so we figure out a way to lessen the impact or not complain, or not. I think that's what it is. It is I don't want to complain. I don't want someone to maybe think that I am whiny. I don't want to, always be a whistleblower or raising the red flag or something about the situation. So I just won't speak up about it, or I will just try to endure a little bit longer because, it's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to not continue in harm or in pain or in discomfort, just because the appearance of you being a certain way, right? I trust your voice, trust your inner voice, trust your intuition. If it is constantly painful, right? If it's too painful, if it's too uncomfortable, if it's too mean, if it's too, demeaning, if the work just doesn't, if it's not fulfilling, and you have an opportunity to make some changes, make those changes. I think about the number of career transitions that I've made, and the number of times that people have always been like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you're changing your job again, or you're, moving to another company." My commitment for my career is to my career. What is the best outcome for me? It has never been my commitment to my company, my commitment to my manager, my commitment to the team that I work with. I have never given those spaces more of my commitment than I've given to myself. And that has served me well. That's not being selfish. The Bible tells us to be shrewd in business. Men are shrewd when they make decisions and interactions and dealings and transactions. And that just seems like being a good business person. But when women do it, and this is not a battle of the sexes, it is what it is. When women show up in a particular capacity in their professional spaces, and they make firm decisions to do or to not do something, the maturity of the individual on the other side of the table will see it one way or another, again, based on the level of maturity that they have. I am sure, I'm sure that I have pissed off a lot of my male counterparts, just because the way that I chose to show up in spaces, how I would advocate for myself and how I would advocate for others. Because I truly believe that if something is not there to serve my needs in one capacity or another, then it's possible that I'm not supposed to be there. Or if it started that way, and as we've gotten, we gone down the road a little bit and things start to turn, I don't I don't know why anyone would kind of continue to stick through that. Um, and I mean, this is not an absolute, right? So I will acknowledge that there could be certain situations, but you know, more often than not, those situations really are not going to value you in the end. So again, thinking about my career and my professional journey, I am not giving more commitment to things that are external than I would to things that are internal. So knowing when it's over, because I just truly believe that you ought to know when it's time to leave. Period. So my bonus would be number 5, that there are no losses, only lessons. And again, this goes back to my agile tutelage, if you will. I live my life by the retrospective. Being able to have an experience and then review that experience. What did I learn from it? What was my experience while I was in it? How did I experience others, and how did they experience me? Do I even want to do that again? I am constantly reviewing myself, and the things that I've done and the people that I've done it with. I'm constantly evaluating and self-reflecting and adjusting, again, making that, being flexible, making sure that, if I need to course correct, I need to course correct. If somebody's giving me feedback, because the people that are around me, I trust their observations, and I trust, what they have to say about my behavior and, my progress and my performance and all of those things. There are some people that, you should have around you that are there kind of pouring into you, and you will be able to hear from them even if you don't like what they have to say, because you know that it's coming from a place of love. I trust good counsel, right? So if the people that I have, allowed to be good counsel for me, if they're, offering me something that maybe I couldn't see because it was in my blind spot, I want to be able to make those adjustments and recover and be able to keep moving forward as often as I need to, so that I'm still showing up as the best version of myself, to do the best version of whatever it is that I've been called to do in that season. I believe that Once I've completed a season, my purpose in that season is also over. So now my purpose is renewed because I'm in a new season. So there's some new gifts and talents that I need to be able to show up and bring to the table. And I just all of these things to me work together. I need to be able to know when something is done so that I don't miss whatever God has next for me. Our rigid thinking and just our inability to just allow ourselves some grace to flow keeps us from the very thing that we are probably going after. So I hope that this was helpful to somebody. Again, I'm just, as I am wrapping up this season of my life, I am definitely being very introspective and retrospective and realizing a lot of things. So I will share them as they come. Today is Wednesday. Friday is my last day. I'm 2 days away. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back on Friday and let you know what I'm feeling. But I think leading into this moment, I am just very open. I'm open to whatever heaven is saying about where I'm headed. And it feels good. So drop me a note in the comments and let me know what resonated with you. And if there are any lessons that you could share or anything that you would add to what I said. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.